What's good? Will Freeman, revolutionarylifestyledesign.com, coming to you today to talk about how to fight pain. And by pain, I mean either mental or physical pain. Okay? And it's important to know the difference between the two. And the major difference, at least in my experience, is that mental pain can be relived and recurring. Okay, when you think about something embarrassing that happened or some attack on your ego, you can relive that and remember that pain as much as you want. And it's a really, really nasty thing. Whereas physical pain, once it's gone, it's gone. You can't remember that backache. You can have an idea that it felt really bad, but once it's gone, it's gone for good, at least until you have some other type of physical pain. So that's a crucial thing to understand. And in my experience, the mental pain is actually easier to control. Okay, because once you get in tune with your mind and you become more mindful, it is much easier to just tune out those negative thoughts and to focus on doing something productive, like doing work or doing these videos, or focusing on something positive. It's much, much easier to do, in my experience, than when you're dealing with physical pain. Physical pain, especially if it is bad physical pain, is much harder to tune out because it is constant. If you have back pain, it is constant throughout the day. There's no point in the day where you're not feeling that, whereas the thoughts come and go, and you have much more control over your thoughts. Okay, so in my experience, I prefer the mental pain to the physical pain. Next thing you need to know about pain and how to fight pain is the difference between pain and suffering. The difference between pain and suffering is that you can feel pain, but that pain doesn't actually have to hurt you. Okay, when I'm in the gym on that last rep, I'm in a lot of pain. Or when I'm on the hamstring machine in the gym and I'm pushing my leg back to where my hamstring is, it's like a 10 out of 10 in terms of physical pain because I'm trying to stretch my hamstrings. And if I had to deal with that pain on a daily basis, it would be really difficult. But in that situation, that pain is not actually hurting me. I'm not suffering in the way that I would from some other type of pain, because I'm just observing that pain. And in some cases, like on the last rep of a set, if I am beating my personal best, I'm actually enjoying it because I've done something productive. Okay, so it's only when you let pain hurt you that it becomes suffering. Otherwise, it is just something that you are observing. You're observing that, okay, I'm not enjoying this, or that there's pain there, but it's not actually hurting you. So that was one of the big revelations of my life, that pain doesn't actually have to hurt you. Okay, it's very important to understand. Now, I'm not saying that that's always possible. Definitely for me, it's not always possible to be able to observe that and for it not to hurt. However, as you start to master yourself, you become better at it. But we'll cover that more in some of the later sections. The last thing you have to understand before we get into actually how to handle pain is the difference between productive versus unproductive pain. All right. Now, there was this Buddhist understanding of the world, and I've been studying Buddhism and Eastern philosophy since I was about 15, that really fucked me up for a long time, which was that pleasure is based out of pain, and you can't have pain without pleasure. And to a large degree, this is true. Okay, in the world of duality, there's always an opposite. There's bad and good, and you can't have good without bad, and you can't have pleasure without pain. And that always fucked me up for a long time because I thought, well, okay, if I get really happy, does that mean that I'm just gonna have to suffer more in the future? Okay, and there's a lot of truth to this statement of pleasure versus pain. However, in my experience, it's not the case that you have to suffer in equal measure to the amount of pleasure that you have. Okay, and actually, I feel it's quite the opposite. If I wanted to really suffer, it would be so easy for me to do that. I would just start fucking up my diet. I would stop working and start living on the streets. I would physically hurt myself with a knife. It is 100% within your reality to be able to suffer less and have more pleasure, or have more pain, and suffer less. Okay, you have a big measure of control over that. However, you cannot get rid of pain completely. In my experience, you cannot have. I've never had a day without some kind of pain. What you can do though is you can schedule your pain in a productive way, and you can schedule productive versus unproductive pain in the sense that that productive pain doesn't have to hurt you. So let me give you an example. Part one on how to handle pain is scheduling that productive pain. Okay, so what you're really doing is you're transmuting the natural amount of pain into something that's positive. Okay, one thing that I noticed when I left sales and when I left the corporate world is I lost that feeling of that release after I'm finished a work day. I don't have that anymore because I kind of enjoy my work now. But when I'd be under pressure for 8 hours and I hate my job, just not working made me happy. Just not working and just walking home from work, didn't matter the weather, I was happy. And just on the weekends I was happy because I didn't have to go to work, because I had that scheduled suffering during the day. And one of the most fucked up things is I had to accept that was just a part of, to feel that like relaxation at the end of the day, there had to be some suffering during the day. And it's the same with in your physicality. For example, I don't feel really good if I don't do anything all day. But if I schedule hard cardio and some hard yoga and some hard lifting weights, I feel terrific after that because my body is now relaxed, there's less tension, and I schedule that productive suffering, and then I get that release. Okay. But the good thing about productive pain, and my main points of productive pain are exercise and work. Those are productive pain points that I schedule into every day. Okay. For example, doing the notes to get these videos together, there's some level of pain in that because I want it to be good. And, I want to get it really organized. And, I go back 4, 5, 6 times saying that it's not organized or it's not good enough. It's just an example. But there is always some measure of pain within my day, and it's scheduled that way. And it's scheduled for suffering, then release, suffering, then release. So I have exercise in the morning, and then a nice hot shower and a release. Then I have work in the morning, then I go for a walk and get lunch and get a coffee. So that's the release, and then I do some more work in the afternoon. And then I either go on a bike ride or I eat dinner, and then the release is like chill at the end of the night, where I either read something or hang out with my friends or go hang out with a girl. So there is that scheduled productive pain plus release. And that productive pain is there, but it's not actually hurting me. Okay, I'm not being hurt in the gym. I'm not suffering in the gym, and I'm not, the way that my work schedule is now, I'm not really suffering unless there's a few too many things to do. I'm not really suffering with my work because I know that pain is in 2 parts. I know that the pain's productive. So the more work that I do, the more passive income I'm going to get. The more I do in the gym, the more I advance my physical goals. And I know that when I'm in pain there, that pain is productive and it's going to make me look better. And then the second point is, I know that once that scheduled pain is over, I'm going to feel terrific from the release. So I get 2 major pleasures out of scheduling that productive pain. I get the fact that I'm building something that's great, either working towards my goals physically or working towards my financial goals and my business goals, and I get the release that's coming afterwards. Okay, so I highly recommend you not look to completely avoid pain, but look to avoid suffering and schedule that productive pain, and you can actually enjoy that productive pain. I actually enjoy the gym. I've been working out for a long time, and I'm still not bored of the gym because I have taught myself to enjoy that struggle. I taught myself to enjoy the struggle of working hard. It would actually be harder for me to take a day off than it would be for me, do work. It's actually harder for me to slack off than it is to do work. Okay, because I've taught myself to enjoy that type of productive pain, both in the actual journey of it and the release when it's over. So when you have that and you have that understanding, it can really be a beautiful thing, and you sort of get the best of both worlds. And it's especially important when you try to stop avoiding that kind of pain. I will sort of encourage that kind of pain because I know it's productive and I know I get the release. All right. So there is never going to be a day where you don't have some kind of pain. However, you can have many days where you don't have to suffer. Okay, I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, please, message me in the comment section below. Okay, so that's number one, is schedule productive pain. Number two is avoid unproductive pain like the plague. All right, unproductive pain is pain that serves no purpose. Pain like food poisoning, pain like a backache, pain like breaking your arm. This kind of pain not only serves no purpose, but it sets you back. Okay, if I broke my arm, I wouldn't be able to type. I wouldn't be able to, I would lose my gains in that arm. It would take me like 3 months for that arm to recover, if it ever fully recovered. And then it would take another 7 or 8 months probably to get my gains back in the gym. It would be a disaster. Okay, unproductive pain is a disaster, and you really have to be serious about avoiding that in your life. Okay, where I live now, some of the big sources of unproductive pain would be traffic, it would be the STDs, number of different areas like that. So I really have to keep on guard against unproductive pain and against getting sick. Even just a common cold fucks up my life for 2 days. The first 2 days of a common cold, I am not happy. I'm not depressed, but I'm pretty much neutral. And it is work for me to get to neutral because my whole physiology is just fucked up. All right. Even just a fucking backache. Even if you have a backache and the backache's even like a 2 out of 10 on the pain scale, you're still going to be like low level irritated that day. You're probably not going to get to a level of consistent happiness until you get that backache solved. So it's really important to structure your life as much as you can to avoid getting sick and to avoid getting into bringing unproductive pain into your life. Okay, it's very important. And the more important of the two to avoid is the physical pain. Okay, physical pain, because the mental pain you have a lot more control over. I have a lot more control over my unproductive mental pain than I do over physical pain. The mental thoughts I can control. I can reframe them as unproductive. I can focus on my work. I can go for a hot shower. I can do exercise. There's a lot I can do that's going to help my mental thoughts, but the physical pain is much harder to control. And the physical pain is also worse because there's two main things that fuck it up. Okay, you don't have control over the intensity and you don't have control over the duration. Okay, so to go back to my exercise in the gym, where I lay down on this machine and basically I lay flat on my back, and then I use a bar. I put a bar on the machine behind my leg to bring my leg up towards my chest, which really stretches out the hamstring. Okay, by the end of that exercise, I hold it for about 5 minutes and I'm constantly pushing back. And I have tight hamstrings, so by the end of that exercise, my pain is a 10 out of 10. Okay, I'm not joking. My pain in my hamstring is all that I can focus on. And it takes a lot of my energy just to hold on. And I make myself hold on for like 25 seconds in that 10 out of 10 pain. And that pain is all that I'm thinking about, okay? And the breathing techniques don't help. Nothing really helps. I just suck it up and just eat it, okay? But I'm not really suffering in that pain because I have control over the intensity and I have control over the duration. I can say, hang on, Will, it's just 10 more seconds, just 5 more seconds, and then it's done, all right? But if I had that pain all day long and that pain would get worse without me the intensity of the pain. I didn't know if it was going to get worse, and I didn't know when it was going to be over. I would be in hell. I would be in a living hell because I didn't have control over how strong it's going to be, and I didn't have control over the duration. The same would be like running cardio. I can go 100% on the last minute of the elliptical because I know I just have to power through that next minute. But if I didn't know when that race was over, I would really, really suffer because it would just be like, I have this pain, I don't have control over it, I don't know if it's gonna get worse, and it's just there till it's there, all right? So that's why avoiding that unproductive pain, avoiding getting sick, avoiding getting hurt, avoiding getting injured is so fucking important, okay? Because as much as there are these meditation techniques and breathing and all that, I've never seen anyone who can deal well with like a super high amount of pain. I don't care if you're an advanced Buddhist meditator or whatever. The major thing to do is is to avoid situations where that happens. Avoid that really unproductive physical pain. All right. That's part 2. So you're scheduling productive pain. You're avoiding unproductive pain like it's your job. Okay. And if you take the pursuit of happiness as your primary priority, like I recommend, then avoiding really bad, unproductive physical pain should be treated as a very, very important thing in your life. All right. Number 3 is if you do get hit with that unproductive pain, you attack it like a rabid dog. What do I have to do to solve this? Hold everything. This is now my number 1 priority. All right. This is now my number 1 priority to get rid of this unproductive pain. And that is it is not easy. It is not easy when you're hit with a type of unproductive pain. For unproductive thoughts, okay, this is a daily battle of my best reframe is just labeling them as unproductive. It's unproductive for my pursuit of happiness. I'm not going to think about that. I'm going to think about either something positive or I'm going to focus on work to take my mind away from thinking about that stuff or change my physical state. All right. I've got a lot of technology on how to do those things in different videos, but that's the idea behind it. I'm avoiding the unproductive mental pain, which I'm pretty good at. Or I'm attacking the unproductive mental pain, which I'm pretty good at. The attacking physical pain is harder, okay? But if something happens, like I had a health scare last year, I'll be honest, the first 2 hours when I finally admitted what was going on was me sort of shouting at myself in my head. But eventually I said, look, we're going to the hospital, we're going to talk to the doctor, we're going to get this handled, we're going to do whatever we have to do. Work's going out the window, everything's off the table. This is what we're handling now for the next couple of days. And, thank God I was able to get it handled. And God willing, it won't come back. But that was what I did. And that's what you have to do if you're hit with like a serious type of pain. All right. And I'm talking about, even if it's a less serious, like a 2 out of 10, like a back pain, you are doing the stretches, you are taking the drugs if you have to take them. You're looking into surgery. You're looking into, okay, I broke my arm. What do I have to do? How do I get this solved? How do I recover the fastest that I possibly can? And that even goes for something that's smaller, like, okay, that backache that's fucking up your day, what kind of stretches do you have to do? Should you go in and get some Tylenol? Like, what's gonna take care of this problem? All right. And when that problem becomes front and center in your reality, when that back pain becomes to the point where you're thinking about it all the time, you're like, okay, let's get rid of this. What do we have to do? What's got to be done to get rid of this pain? Okay. And then you can go back to focusing on work or whatever when you've done your best to get rid of it. And if it's a big one, then that has to become priority number 1. But like I said, best thing to do is avoid that in the first place. Avoid those major pains by staying safe, eating well, getting good rest, being healthy. It's very, very, very important. But if you do get hit with something, you attack it like it's your job. And you also accept that there's a daily battle for your mind. If you want to see how to do that more, check out how to defend yourself against your demons. Okay, I use the metaphor of spiritual warfare for staying with the light and the positive and staying away from the dark and depressing thoughts. And it's something that if you really attack that, you can make drastic changes in your life. Okay, I'm talking to you as someone who is very depressed at 20, and from someone who is at 34 a completely different person. I mean, completely different in all aspects. And the more you attack that unproductive pain and the more you avoid it, you would be really shocked in the amount of change that you can accomplish in your life, the amount of positive change. Okay, so number one, schedule productive pain. Number two, avoid unproductive pain. Number three, attack. If you are hit with that unproductive pain, which sometimes you are, attack it like it's your job, like it's your number one priority. Number four, don't add to your suffering, okay? Life is hard. Life is hard. But for many guys, their biggest problem in life is that they want it to be easy. When you wake up accepting that life is hard and accepting that you are going to have to fight some type of battle and that you're going to have to, go schedule that productive pain, okay? Every day you got to do that morning workout. Every day you got to do your work, towards your mission. When you just accept that that's a part of it and that that's a part of life, it doesn't have to hurt you. It doesn't have to hurt you. It doesn't have to hurt me that I have to do work. I know that's coming. I've accepted that. I've also accepted that life is hard. Why? Not because I want life to be hard, but because that's how it is. And point number four is don't add to your suffering. If you're consistently wanting life to be easy, you're just you're making more unnecessary suffering for yourself. Okay, you're saying, well, it's hard and I'm upset that it's hard. Instead of just saying it's hard, what do I have to do to maximize my pursuit of happiness today? Every time you get upset, you add to your suffering. Every time you're upset about how things didn't go, you add to your suffering, all right? When you rebel against reality, you are stepping on your own dick every time. The sooner you accept reality, the better, okay? I used the example of my health scare last year where I yelled at myself and didn't accept it for like 2 hours, okay? All I did was hurt myself more than it needed to be, okay? Now, I'm not saying this is easy. If I broke my arm today, I can tell you right now that would be shocking enough and traumatic enough that I would probably yell at myself for most of that day, all right? I'm being honest. The vast majority of the stuff that goes on, I can get a handle on pretty quickly because I'm used to it, okay? But I haven't broken my arm, and first I would be thinking about the financial cost, and I would be thinking about, okay, I can't work, I can't go to the gym, I might not ever fully recover. If I do, it's gonna take 3 months, and then I'm gonna have to get my gains back, and I'm gonna be typing with one hand like a retard. And I would be thinking over those things for probably like a day. However, I would get it under control and I would do what had to be done, like I always do, all right? What I'm trying to say is I'm not perfect. And when something is painful above what I'm used to, like that, something that is, well above something that I normally deal with, there would probably be a shock period. But my shock period would be much quicker than most people's, and my shock period would be way quicker than it was when I was 20. And hopefully I can get to some point in my life where I can handle that immediately, all right? I'm not there yet, but I am so much better than where I used to be, okay? And for a lot of the stuff that bothers normal people, I've had some shit that would fuck up normal people's years, I can handle that pretty quickly. Where, I've invested time in something and it didn't work out. 2 years ago, I did Amazon FBA. One day I realized that it wasn't working and that was it. I called up my business partner. I said, it's not working. We just have to close up shop. That was it. I've been through enough business failures. I know when it's failed, and that was it. I chalked it up to experience and went back to RLD. That's how it goes. For some guys, that would fuck up 6 months of their life, okay? But the important thing is that I recognize that. When you rebel against reality, you step on your own dick. You don't hurt reality by being angry at it. You don't hurt reality by being sad. You don't hurt reality by being depressed. You don't hurt other people around you by being angry or sad or depressed. All you do is increase the amount of pain and suffering that you feel, and it's always unproductive pain. The best thing you can do for yourself, especially if you have some type of unproductive pain, and the worse the unproductive pain, the better it is to just accept, okay, that happened. All right, I did something stupid. I fell off my bike. I broke my arm. Instead of beating yourself up about it, which is what you're gonna want to do, the best thing you can do for yourself is just be like, man, I fucked up. What do I do from here? What do I do from now? Okay. Worrying and replaying and regretting and saying, I wish I just did this or that, is just gonna torture yourself. You're just gonna add to your pain. Okay. Whenever you can, avoid adding more suffering than you're already feeling, because the only person that's going to suffer more is you. Reality is not going to suffer, and reality is not going to suffer no matter how much you yell at reality and say, this is unfair, I don't deserve this shit, I'm a good guy. Reality doesn't care. Reality is just like, that's what happened. You're in pain now, there, and you can yell at me, but I don't care. That's how it goes. And the sooner you recognize that, the better. The sooner you delve into a solution mindset, the better you are going to be, and the faster you can get rid of that unproductive pain. I'm not telling you that this is easy. Fighting pain is probably the hardest battle in your life. Pursuing your happiness and pursuing consistent happiness every day is the hardest thing to do in life. It really is. And all my strategies on my site are about how to make your life less painful and how to make your life more enjoyable. And it's the same strategy that I apply in my life, but it is the hardest battle that you have to face. And life is hard, no question about it, but it's also the most important battle. And if you apply even of the fraction of the effort that you applied in school, okay, the 20 years that you had to go to school and the 50-hour weeks, all to get that useless piece of paper, if you apply even a fraction of the effort to that, towards your battle against pain, and you're really focused on that, you can make a massive amount of change in your life. All right, massive. And it might be hard, and it's going to be a daily battle. Okay, I'm not lying to you. It's a daily battle, and no one is perfect, but it is a skill. Okay, it is a skill that you can get better at, and the more you focus at it, the more you get better. The more you practice it on a daily level, the more you get better. It's not enough to just say, okay, Will's right. That's worthless. You have to apply this shit to your daily life. Okay, the key things to apply are scheduling productive pain, just accepting that to get the things that you want in life, there has to be a certain amount of productive pain, but it doesn't have to hurt you. And in fact, you can actually enjoy that productive pain, and you can enjoy the release that comes from when it's over. And that's a beautiful thing. Okay, it's number one. Number two, avoid the unproductive pain. Avoid getting sick, getting injured, like it's your number one job. When you do, or if you do get hit with some type of unproductive pain, attack it like it's your number one job, okay? And number four, don't add to your suffering whenever possible. Accept reality as quick as you can, as soon as you can, and move to a solution-based positive mindset as soon as you can. Life will give you enough opportunities for suffering as it is. Don't add to those by beating yourself up or regretting or wishing it was different or blaming this guy or that guy for what had happened. Accept reality as soon as possible. Don't step on your own dick, and move towards a positive solution-based mindset as soon as you possibly can. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. In fact, it will take a lot of your strength and a lot of your discipline to do it, but it is very fucking worthwhile. And it is one of the most worthwhile battles that you can possibly engage yourself in, all right? And handling your pain and structuring your life to be as pain-free as possible with as little pain as possible is one of, if not the most important battles and the most important things you do with your life. Okay, as I tell you guys, your primary priority should be the pursuit of happiness. Well, handling your pain and minimizing your pain, to me, is one and the same as pursuing your happiness. Okay, it is the most important thing that you can do with your life. All right, so important, and so important that you apply yourself and you focus on it, and you don't just take this as lifestyle porn or entertainment or an interesting thought. You actually apply this shit to your real life. Very, very important. That's it, boys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening to the audios. Thank you for reading my website over at revolutionarylifestyledesign.com. I wish you all the best in your personal development journey.